I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not worry about the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. In tonight's show, if you've been looking at our website, you'd already know that the title is Renewal. And so you can find that on my website, starborninstitute.org. And the reason why we're talking about renewal tonight is because there are some wonderful planets in Pisces. This might be the one and only time they're all together in Pisces. And so that can lead to a sense of renewal that we can all have right now. But what I have to explain to you is what has led up to the renewal. Why are you now finally able to have some sort of renewal or something that is that you can look forward to, that is sort of better than what you've had before? Well, the reason why you could do that is because there may, in the last 2 years, during the pandemic, for instance, there could have been a sort of a cascading effect that took place in your life. And it could have been for a variety of reasons. But it was gradual, and it is what this cascading effect of things has brought you to this time of renewal. And so we have to sort of go back to the beginning. So sometime in the last few years, there may have been a sharply defined ending to something. It could have been a loss of a job, it could have been a move, it could have been an abrupt breakup of some kind, and it could have been caused by the pandemic, or it could be something like a retirement, or somebody just wanting to move on. But that created a sort of an abrupt breakup of one sort or another. So that would have been phase one. That would have been what started you on your road to renewal now. Then the second thing is that after the breakup or a sharply defined ending of some sort that you may have gone through, you would have had some room to move. That would be the next phase. You would have had some quiet time to yourself, particularly if you lost your job. And you would have been able to sort of look things over, and this room to move would have given you something very valuable, and it is time. It would have given you the time to rest and recuperate and slow down and think a lot of things over. And so you could have gone from a breakup to having room to move, sort of clear things out after a traumatic occurrence, and then that would have left you with time on your hands to really think things over. So all three of those things could be leading up now to this period of renewal for you. And that is because a rare thing has now occurred, and we should really all take advantage of it because it's wonderful. And it is that Venus, the planet of love and peace and partnership, just went into Pisces. And it's at only 1 degree of Pisces. It's going to be in Pisces for a while. And it is joining Jupiter in Pisces. And together, those two wonderful planets are joining Neptune, the ruler of the sign, in Pisces. And it's the strongest planet in the heavens right now because it's the only one at home in this sign it rules. Pisces rules are the traditional 12th house of limitations. It rules our doubts and fears. It rules the things we kid ourselves about. It can rule over indulgence or escape through alcoholism, drug addiction, or sexual promiscuity. Or it can rule following your highest dream or your highest ideal or goal. Because Pisces also rules charity. It rules a lot of things behind the scenes. And so it can rule covert activities, But it can also rule an awful lot of warm-hearted, good cheer and sympathy behind the scenes and kindness for those who are less fortunate. And it rules renewal. And the reason it rules renewal is because it's associated with the other two water signs that trine the sign of Pisces. And that is because Scorpio, actually, it has two rulers, Mars and Pluto. Pluto rules psychological transformation and change and regeneration. And so with all these planets in Pisces, trining the sign of Scorpio right now, and Scorpio actually ruling justice and survival, we can see a lot of that sort of coming down the pike. Maybe the renewal is about creating a better sense of justice or seeing that justice is done. Who knows? But the planets in Pisces are also trining the sign of Cancer. Cancer is America's sun sign, and Canada's, and Ukraine's. It's the sign of the home. It is the sign of the fourth house of home and last half of life. And so, and it rules our families, it rules real estate, farming, mining. It rules the whole grocery business, and it rules restaurants. The Cancers are very good cooks. So this renewal can sort of spread out in your life. It can be that you feel renewed, but also there can be some concentration on a lot of other things that are important to you that you can be engaged in soon as you go through renewal. I mean, you're not in the breakup phase, and you're not in the room to move phase, and you're not in the thinking it over phase. You're in the renewal phase, and this is just an absolutely wonderful time to do that. So I hope that you have had time to think over a lot of things, because you could be asking, oh, does this mean I can go back to doing whatever I want to do? No, it does not. It doesn't mean you can go back to making the same old mistakes. Those are done. Those are what got you into the abrupt breakup. And now you can't go back to making the same old mistakes. And you know it. You've had time to think about that. And there will be things that are very important to you in the future, and people that are in relationships that are very important to you in the future. And so this is a time right now, in our period of renewal, that we can all enjoy. While these three wonderful planets are in Pisces, we can sort of turn over a new leaf. We can decide, I'm going to grow up here. I'm going to do things that are right and good. And I'm glad if you are thinking like that, that's good. Because if you're trying to do your best, other people are going to see that. And they are going to like that. And that's going to make your life a whole lot easier. And so, no, I don't think that this is an indication that you can go back to the past. This is an indication that you are renewing and rededicating yourself to a better future. And so I think that there can be some limitations that you have experienced, particularly in the last 2 years, that the door is closing on those, or it has closed. And now what you're faced with is sort of a new chance at happiness, or the ability to make a dream come true. Don't wait. Do this while these planets are in Pisces. They're going to have a wonderful effect on you. And the reason why it's important to try your best right now is because there is the possibility that a severe limitation can be removed right now because of some problem that is sharply cut out And what I mean is that there could be something very jarring that occurs, but that it solves a bad problem. And if you're in any kind of a relationship where somebody is still trying to hang on to the past, then you're going to have to figure out how to cut that off, because that'll drag you back too. And that isn't the direction you're going in. You're going toward a better future, a renewal of what's good in you. And that's what you should be doing. The reason I'm talking about some sort of severe limitation that can be eliminated now, or perhaps it already has been. If it has been, congratulations, you're better off. But the problem is that Uranus in Taurus, a fixed financial sign, is squaring Mars and Saturn in Aquarius. And Aquarius rules the future. These are the three malefic planets. And there's no other planets in these two signs. This is just a battle royal between the three worst planets up there, the ones that'll get you in a lot of trouble. And they're in fixed signs, and one of them is a financial fixed sign, Taurus. So there is a gigantic fight that either is going on or it's coming right up about money. And the problem is, I'm not so sure anybody's going to win it. The problem is that Mars and Saturn in Aquarius, which rule the future, so it's money in the future that we're talking about, are both at the same degree. And that's very dangerous because they're both malefic planets. So within Mars' orbit and within Saturn's orbit, they're both at 23 degrees. They're in perfect alignment. Double trouble. And they're both being squared by Uranus and Taurus. And that simply means that the number, when you're still looking for, okay, what else is there or what's not showing, one way is to just look at the numbers. And 23, they're both at the same degree, perfect alignment. And 23 is a number that reduces to 5. 2 plus 3 equals 5. So it's going from an uneven number and being reduced to an uneven number. 5 is the number of Gemini. And Gemini and the number 5 rule scattering your forces. Think of the 5 fingers of your hand, and Geminis would have 5 different things that they'd want to do all at the same time. And they're pretty good at, and so versatile, maybe they could do that, but most people can't. And also, Gemini rules youth. So if there was somebody in a powerful position right now, or who wanted to be in a powerful position, and their destiny number, which you get from the name, all the letters have a numerical number assigned to them. So if you want to know the numbers on somebody's name, you just add all those, you figure out what they are and you add them up. And so if there was somebody in the world who wanted to scatter their forces and wanted to be young forever, because remember, 5 rules scattering your forces and it rules youth, but they're not young. Let's say on their birthday, this year in fact, they are going to be 70. So if they can't face that, and Mars is a planet of jealousy and greed, and they see somebody else who's younger and really on the ball, they could overwhelm that person or overwhelm the situation they're in out of sheer jealousy for something that they can't win, because you are the age you are. There's nothing you can do about it. You can only have so much plastic surgery, I think. And so with somebody who has had plastic surgery, but they're still going to be 70, they're scattering their forces and they want to look young forever. It seems to me that those are not noteworthy goals, at least not by the time you're 70. And so if they haven't learned anything else by the time they're 70, I think they're walking down the wrong road. It's a dead end. And so there can be some sharp cut or some way to eliminate a problem right now. It would be harsh. But these aspects are harsh. And so we need to be aware of that. That I'm not saying that could happen to you or me. I think we are on the road to renewal. Just remember, you can't go back to making past mistakes. This is a time of renewal, meaning that we grow, or we rededicate ourselves to our biggest dreams or our best hopes. This is really a good time to do that. And you could do just fine behind the scenes if you got real honest with yourself about where you're going and what you're doing. And this is the time when, you know, the angels could smile on you. It might be the last time. I mean, Venus, Jupiter, and Neptune are going to be in Pisces for a while, but it's the last time the three of them will be there, I think. And that is because it takes Venus 8 months to get around a chart once, but it takes Jupiter 12 years. So 12 years would be the soonest that these three could be back. And I don't think that Neptune's going to be in Pisces in 12 years. I didn't look that up, but I don't think it is. So this is a golden opportunity for renewal, and I hope you take it. Okay, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries, for you, I think that Aries, you've got a lot of extra protection behind the scenes because that Neptune, Venus, and Jupiter in Pisces are right behind your sun sign, which is good. And so I think that there can be a lot of protection. There can be some people who are sort of deciding to be nice to you, Aries. And they're either doing it because they feel like they want to, or they're doing it because you asked them to. Nothing wrong with that. You could ask people for favors. If you did that behind the scenes, they would be somewhat expected to do a favor for you. So maybe that could help get you out of some tight spot somewhere else, Aries. So you could think about that. But there's also the possibility with Uranus and Taurus right ahead of your sun sign for years to come that your financial fortunes can fluctuate. And they're not all job related. It can be that you have been quietly investing for your retirement. Well, maybe those funds are in question, either because they might have been mismanaged or because they've lost value. So you really need to sort of look that over pretty carefully. Anything that has to do with money is being threatened at the moment. And that is why people need to be really careful, hang on to what they've got, and sort of be honest and upright. But I think that you could enjoy a favor from someone behind the scenes that would help you, Aries. And so think about what kind of favor you want, because you might get it. But, you know, make it something that allows you to go through renewal. Because we just had a new moon in your sign. But that isn't so you can go back to doing what you used to do. That is so you can try something new. So I hope you do that. Good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Taurus. This is a time when I think that you're sort of feeling the heat, Taurus. And by that I mean there is a very harsh aspect to your sun sign. And it is that Mars and Saturn, both at the 23rd degree in Aquarius, which rules the future, are squaring Uranus in your sign. And that is just more trouble than one person can handle, let me tell you. And that is because, look at where these malefic planets are. They're in the sign of the future. What does Aquarius rule? It rules cyber warfare. It rules space. It rules satellites. It rules tomorrow. It rules a more modern future. It rules new things that we haven't even thought of yet, that people are, experimenting with and inventing. And all of that can be sort of overwhelming you at the moment, Taurus. For one thing, it's all expensive. But where would we be without it? This country really depends on technology, and that's what Aquarius rules. And the ruler of Aquarius is in your sign, Uranus. And so there is some sort of crossroads that the leaders of industry are on right now. Not a straight road, a crossroad. Because they may want to develop and fund brand new technologies. And of course, if you get in on the ground floor on an investment like that, you could make a fortune. But I said it's a crossroads, not a straight road. And that's because these planets are squaring each other so harshly. And so this is not the time for you to take a gamble on anything, Taurus. Don't bet on anything. Don't put your money down on anything speculative. You are one person that ought to take a look at your money and decide, time to hang on, and do what you have to do that. And also, the taxes are higher this year. Inflation is going through the roof. This is not a year when people are going to have huge profits. There's too much debt. Inflation is too high. There's too much spending going on. And so you can't play that game, Taurus. In as far as your career goes, if you don't update your skills, you'll get left behind. So you need to do that. And this Mars-Saturn square is challenging you about that. Or it's part, there could have been some change in your job requirements. And so you have to very carefully think of what you want to do with your money. And my suggestion to you is to scale it down. Cut your cost of living a little bit. Or, pay off any bills you have. And hang on for dear life right now, Taurus. But try to conserve your funds if you can. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Gemini. This is a time when, thank heavens, the malefic planets are not really hurting you. Unless you do something very sudden and whimsical with money behind the scenes. Don't do that, Gemini. And the reason why is that Uranus in Taurus is right behind your sun sign, and that's one of the malefic planets. But the other two malefic planets, Mars and Saturn, which are both at 23 degrees of Aquarius, are both trining your sun, Gemini. And you could have something pretty big headed right your way. And it might be due to the fact that it sort of falls in your lap. And it could fall in your lap because it has been precisely removed or cut off from somebody else or from some other organization. And people are thinking, hey, you're the one that can do this. Or you're just the right person. And so this benefits you tremendously, Gemini. I would say something is a project or a proposal or a group is sort of coming at you, and it sort of wants to scatter its forces. Remember, both planets are at 23 degrees. But it wants to scatter its forces by first adding people to its group. And you can be one of the people that gets added to the group. And I strongly advise you to accept or do it. And if somebody says, Anne, can you help out with such and such? Don't make an excuse, Gemini. Jump in. It could be, it could take it to a whole new level. And by that I mean Geminis it's a mutable sign. Geminis like their neighborhood. They're very fond of their old school buddies. They like casual things to do, and they're really good at that. But this isn't what this group is about. This group is a professional group. This group has a national reputation. This group knows what they're doing, and there are a lot of good people in it. And that's why you should, if you get any request from them to do anything, the answer should just be yes. Well, now, what if you don't know what you're doing? Well, ask for help, because they ask you. You can ask them. And that's okay. This is not the time. Remember, this is a time of renewal. We're past the breakup stage. We're past the room to move stage. We're past the time to think everything over stage. Now we're into renewal. And that's you, Gemini. And boy, do you have some strong support behind you. Whatever is involved in this group or these people that are coming toward you, they're highly reputable. It would be a compliment to you that they were talking to you. And so don't you shy away. Now, if you don't know what to say, just smile. Don't say anything, but at least smile. And then I think you're going to be just fine. So I think you're looking at something that is a chance for you to renew, but at a little higher level than you're used to. But that doesn't mean you can't handle it beautifully, Gemini. You can. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Oh, Cancer. This is a time, Cancer, that you could describe as one long golden moment. And the reason why is, and how long is long? It's as long as these three planets stay together in Pisces. So Neptune is going to be there for a couple more years. Jupiter will leave at the end of December, though. And Venus will leave, I think, sooner than that. But right now they're together. And these Venus, Jupiter, and Neptune in Pisces are all trining your sun, Cancer. And so, Cancer, things are getting better for you. Things are looking up. You could probably be feeling better. Why? Because all these stages that were leading up to your renewal are past. You don't have to go back to those. Now you're in renewal. I bet you it feels great. And why shouldn't you be? This is a time of healing. The water signs all rule healing. And all the water signs are being blessed by these three planets in Pisces because they're trining your sun and they're trining the Scorpio sun. So, you might be surprised, Cancer, by the fact that other people are going through renewal too. And this can involve children. This can involve other family members. This can involve co-workers. And so people can't go back to making the same mistakes. What we all need to do is turn over a new leaf and go forward. So if there's anybody in your life that's sort of trying to keep hanging on to you, Cancer, that's a wasted effort on their part and on you. If you why pay attention to that? The reason is it's over. And so let that go. And sometimes even if you have to sort of abruptly close the door or abruptly set up terms that say, okay, you stay on that side and I'll stay on this side of the fence. Well, you just have to do that. And why is that? Because you're going through renewal and you've had a hard time. And there are still people around, particularly somebody who's a pretty influential person, who likes to scatter their forces and be young forever. Two rather shallow goals. Nothing appealing about that. Particularly since time does march on. We all get older. I think the one thing, if somebody was looking for a way to stay young, I think the one best thing could be to keep your sense of humor. Because there are times in life when nothing can be done, except if you can still keep your sense of humor, you can find something to laugh about, or you can enjoy a good laugh when you're out looking at things and something seems funny to you. Then to me, when I look at somebody who's laughing, I think that they're forever young. And people look nicer when they smile. It isn't just they feel good, they make everybody else feel good too. And so Cancer, you're going through renewal now. I don't know what your new aims are, but I'm pretty sure they're going to end well. And the reason why they can end well is because other people have had enough time to see you in a better light. And some things that had been going on in the last few years, which might have been beyond your control, but maybe not, I don't know, are being seen more clearly now by other people. And I think in a fairer light. And so you don't need to worry about anything from your past, Cancer. It's over. And what you're looking at is a great future. Even if it starts behind the scenes, which is actually where it should start. Pisces rules things behind the scenes, and those planets are trining your sun. So, I think you've just got really good things ahead of you, Cancer. And a more mature, greater, kinder understanding about you among family members or friends, a gentler outlook about you that might surprise you, but it's there. You're being well regarded right now by people that you didn't think were going to regard you or hadn't been doing that for a couple of years, but now you're being well regarded. So you can enjoy that if you want, but I would say you got to spend a little time getting on that future, Cancer. Don't waste time. This is a golden moment for you. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, this is a time, particularly with the sun in Aries right now, and Mercury there, that you can hear about new things, and some of them could involve entertainment, Leo. Well, your sign rules entertainment. And so all the summer concerts are going to be starting pretty soon, and that would be something that you'd like to go to. You'd have a lot of fun. And also the summer weather. We could all use a little change from the winter snow and the awful tornadoes that have been going on throughout the country. And also we just plain need to get away briefly in our minds from so much worry about all the problems that the world is having right now. And that's why I think your sign rules entertainment, Leo, is because your sign is lit by the sun. And it's sort of a sad world right now. We need renewal. And it's the sunny side of a Leo that people need to see right now. Now, they may not ask you for that, but they sure would love it. And the reason why they're, when a Leo walks into a room, they sort of light it up because your ruler is the sun. And so, put your best foot forward right now, Leo. Doing your best. Look good. You're going to cheer a lot of people up if you just show up looking good. And inspire them in one way or another. And remember to use humor. During the 1930s, when the Great Depression was on, and boy, there was 25% unemployment, and America had a big dust bowl in the middle of the country, and nobody was growing any crop at all, then there was a comedy that came out, a type of comedy that only lasted through the Depression, really, and it was called Screwball Comedy. It would be sort of hysterical laughing about things that most people would take seriously. But if they could get a laugh out of you during the time of the Depression, they made that movie just to get somebody to laugh. So Screwball Comedy didn't, it was sort of overdone, but then it was addressing a country in severe depression. And we needed that. And we're not in a depression right now, but unfortunately, particularly with the way the planets are in the fixed signs with the malefic planets, we are headed for something pretty close to financial deprivation of one kind or another. We are headed towards shortfalls and, a decline in a standard of living if we don't change our ways. And so, Leo, maybe we just need the sunny side of you more now. And besides, this is a time of renewal. And I know Leos have been through tough times too. We all have in the last 2 years. But, if anybody can rise and shine and come out of it, you can. The one thing you can't do, Leo, right now is spend money. Don't do that. Do not take a gamble on anything. Even if you're real sure some horse is going to win a race, do not put $1 on him, because you're going to need the money. The aspects of the 3 malefic planets in fixed signs are very harsh to your sun sign. Mars and Saturn in Aquarius oppose your sun, and Uranus in Taurus squares your sun. Somebody could take you to the cleaners and make it all sound very plausible. Don't listen. Don't spend money now. No matter what kind of good deal somebody wants to sell you. If it's so good, it'll wait. It'll wait. And if you give it a few more months and you've waited and it's nowhere to be found, then you know it was a sinker. You would be glad that you passed on it. And so have fun this summer, but try not to spend too much money. Okay, what does it mean to Virgo? Well, Virgo, this is a time when I think, Virgo, that your logical gifts and your careful way of accounting and your attention to exact details, which make you very well respected by people, are not where the focus is at the moment. And the reason why is that these 3 great planets in Pisces, Venus, Jupiter, and Neptune, are all opposing your sun sign. And there's there's 2 planets in earth signs. Uranus in Taurus is trining your sun, but it is beleaguered. It can't help anybody right now. It's being squared by those malefic planets in Aquarius. And then Pluto in Capricorn is trining your sun right now. And that means that since Capricorn rules sort of the long run, it means that in the long run you're doing just fine, Virgo. In fact, you're very secure. You're going to be fine in the long run. But if this is a time of renewal for everyone, how are you going to renew, Virgo? You don't have to renew yourself financially. I think you're really on top of every dime that you've got, Virgo. So that isn't where the renewal needs to go. Where would your renewal be? It would be in something that relates to some sort of breakup or sharply defined ending that may have occurred in the last few years, because it would have given you room to move, it would have given you time to think about things, and so it would probably have involved a relationship in one way or another. And it could have been longer ago than that. It could have been 10 years ago. But all I'm saying is that if there was ever an abrupt breakup in your life, Virgo, boy, is it over. And I think sometimes you would want to be so logical that you would compensate for the pain that inflicted upon you. No, Virgos have very tender hearts. Just because they always stick to the facts doesn't mean they don't get their feelings hurt. They do. Everybody does. And so you might have carried a lot of pain inside of you, Virgo. And this is the time, okay, not to repeat any past mistakes, such as hiding your pain. How about you just let go of it? Stop thinking about whatever broke your heart at one time. You know, promise yourself you'll never bring that up again in your own mind. And if it creeps up, kick it out. Because this is your time to renew your heart. And you can do it. It may be that you can think a little bit more about becoming more social so that you develop some new relationships. Believe me, everybody that goes through renewal now can be open to new relationships. And those new relationships, thanks to these 3 planets in Pisces, have a wonderful chance for success. And that involves you too, Virgo. Even though those planets are opposing your sun, sometimes an opposition will bring you things you can't get by yourself. These are such good planets in Pisces, there's nothing wrong with any of them. So even though they're opposing your sun sign, look out for what they represent and, sort of go out and look your best, because you could attract somebody real nice right now, Virgo. Or at least look up your old friends and don't really talk about the past. Talk about your new plans, because you're in renewal just like the rest of us. And I think you're going to enjoy. I think you're going to enjoy it. Sort of a nice summer. The summer has a few surprises for you, Virgo, and they are going to bring a smile to your face. These surprises. I can feel that. At least 2 of them. So, have a good summer. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, this is a time when, just as it is with Gemini, I think you've got a real powerhouse group or some powerhouse people headed your way, Libra. I mean, the kind that use steamrollers. And the reason why is that Mars and Saturn are both at 23 degrees in Aquarius, and together they trine your sun. And so that means that some matter that involves a future project, or say future technology of one kind or another, or just a future invention, something brand new, could be headed your way, one way or another, something new. It could be in the telecommunications field. It could have something to do with satellites. I think everybody's saying that, oh gee, we'll have a lot more robots in our life. Well, I don't know. I'm not too crazy about having a robot in my home. Besides, there's no room. But the other thing people say we're going to have is we're going to be more and more dependent on satellites for everything. And I think that's true. And they're putting up a whole bunch of satellites to make sure that happens. So, Libra, are you ready for that? Are you ready for technological advances that will help you do your job better in the future? Or if it's not a job, it will just help you communicate better with others? Because if you're not ready, maybe it's time to take a little class or something like that and just sort of brush up your skills in one way or another. That would be good, because it would make everything easier for you. And then if that doesn't appeal to you at all, then what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to find someone else who knows what they're doing with technology and pay them to do it for you. That could get expensive. But I think that there really is a sort of a powerhouse organization. And it's very powerful. Well, Mars conjuncting Saturn is powerful. but some organization that you are going to come in contact with one way or another, Aquarius, is sort of headed, or Libra, is headed your way because of the 2 planets in Aquarius that are trining your sun. So the other reason why I think that this is going to be advantageous for you, it may require you to do harder work though, but hey, that makes us all grow. That makes us competitive. That's okay. The reason why I think it's going to involve wanting more from you, Libra, is because your ruler is Venus, and your ruler is in heaven right now, because Venus is in Pisces with Jupiter and Neptune, the strongest planet in the heavens. And they're all in the sign that rules things behind the scenes. And so anything could happen behind the scenes for you, Libra, and it would all be nice. Part of it involves a powerhouse group, though. But that's okay. Your ruler is so beautifully aspected that it's sort of like rolling out a red carpet just for you, Libra. Just for you to walk on. You're going to do better in this time of renewal than you can possibly imagine at the moment. But you'll see that unfold. Day by day, you'll see that unfold. And I think you're going to do just fine. And Libras are pretty gentle souls. So if some powerhouse person or organization comes your way, don't back away and don't make excuses. Just smile and pray a lot. And after you get used to them, then it'll be okay. They won't be so daunting. But at first they might be. But you know, they are where they want to be. So don't underestimate them. They know what they're doing, and they know the good qualities that they see in you. And maybe it's you that's not looking at your good qualities, but they are. That's why I'm saying go forward. You don't have anything to worry about. Your ruler is, as I said, in 7th heaven. The 2 best planets in the heavens are really Jupiter and Venus. I mean, the lights are wonderful, the sun and the moon. Maybe we just take them for granted. They are great. They move at different speeds. But how often do Jupiter and Venus get together? Jupiter and Venus are 2 planets that indicate a marriage tie. There aren't too many things that indicate that, but those are. So anything's possible, Libra. Good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Scorpio. This is a time when, just like Cancer, you benefit greatly from the fact that you're in a period of renewal right now. And you know, it might seem a little strange to you. I mean, after all, in the last couple of years, you probably did go through some sort of sudden ending or an abrupt change. It could have been in your career, it could have been in a partnership, it could have been in your family, but you know, that might not have been too great. And then you went into a period of time where you sort of had room to move. That was good. That slowed you down a little bit, made you, you know, just, you could relax a little bit, and you could sort of get your energy back. And then you could have gone into a period that was simply a chance to rest, relax, and maybe plan for something new or think of new things, not be so troubled by the past. And through these 3 phases, which all involved healing, and you're a water sign, so water signs do heal, we are now in this 4th phase, renewal. And it might seem a little strange, Scorpio, that you are really at the end of a painful period in your life. And I don't know what kind of pain you endured, but I knew it got you right there in the heart. It might have been the loss of a friend. You know, COVID took a lot of people. So maybe it was something like that. But whatever it was, and I don't think it was just one thing. There could have been a few other things too. But that isn't where you are now. And besides, those were heavy burdens. And we've had these phases that we've gone through, and each phase helped us lighten the load a little bit. Okay, well now you're down to renewal. And what do you have left, Scorpio? Well, you have a brand new you. And you have a much better future ahead of you. And just the same as Cancer, you have people around you that are, they're sort of weighing and reconsidering their opinions of you. And let me just say, your stock has gone up a lot. And that's why you're in renewal. You're in renewal because the world around you is changing. And what they're doing is they're changing their estimation of you. So this would be friends, this would be family members, this would be people in your neighborhood, these would be people at work. Or it could be that you have a worldwide reputation. Well, it's everybody then. But they're changing their estimation of you. It may be because you bore the pain of things in the last couple of years. You bore that rather well. And people respect that. You know, it's important to always live up to your highest values. They can be the values you were taught as a little kid. Well, you know, they've been around a long time. That's why we're not supposed to lose those values. We're supposed to keep them. And one of them is to be true to yourself and to do your best and to help others. And you may have done that even though you were having a bad time. And people are looking at that and thinking, you know, that you handled it well. Whatever it was, you handled well. And that's why your stock has gone up. So renewal for you might mean that there aren't quite as many people in your world as there used to be. But the ones that you care about, even if there's only a few of them now, they're very precious to you. And you really do care about them. And the nice thing is, they care about you. So, you're in renewal because things are more real than they used to be. They're more genuine. They're more sincere. And that can be in your career. It can be in your private life. It could be anywhere. So keep living up to your best, Scorpio. People like you that way. It's not easy, but you're doing a great job. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarian? Sagittarius. This is a time when, you know, once again, summer is coming and your sign rules travel. You may decide you want to go on a trip. In fact, a lot of trips. Well, that's nice. And that's because wherever you're traveling, people are lifting these restrictions from the pandemic. And so, you know, the world is getting back together again. People are visiting each other a lot. So, you know, you should try that, Sagittarius. I mean, why not? We just had a new moon in Aries that trined your sun, and the sun and Mercury are still in Aries. You could get good news about a new beginning, and that could get you sort of on the road and get you going. You would love that, Sagittarius. There are people all over the world that need help now. And you might feel like taking off and helping somebody or helping people come and see you. that would be great. That would be an adventure. Well, why not? I mean, we have all been tied down for too long. And particularly a Sagittarian. I mean, Sagittarius rules long-distance travel. You know, they can go to very far-away places and absolutely love it. And so I suggest you do that, Sagittarius. There could be some good travel deals around. You know, the travel industry really took it on the chin during that pandemic. And they're needing to make up for lost time. So you could probably get some pretty good deals if you decide to do something like that. So you may want to be in renewal by doing something that you really love. And I know travel is one of the things you really love. Sagittarius also likes to ponder weighty problems. And that is because your sign rules the courts, and that's what the courts do. So you could be sort of paying attention to what's going on in the courts as well. But don't neglect the things that make you happy, Sagittarius. And if you feel that taking a short trip is really worth it, then you ought to go. I mean, why not? There haven't been planets in fire signs for a long time, but now there are. Particularly since it's the sun in Aries. So I think it's educational for you to travel. And so you could just chalk that up to your education budget and go on a trip if you want, because I think you'd really enjoy it. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Capricorn. This is a time when I think Capricorn, since your sign is security prone and believe it rules administration, and it rules the ability to keep large organizations moving ahead, because Capricorn rules large corporations and government agencies, all of which have to go through proper protocols in order to achieve their goals. And Capricorns have the kind of mind that doesn't like to skip steps. And so, you know, Capricorn, you're very thorough about doing a lot of things, one step at a time. And so I think that this is a time when your steadiness is somewhat in demand. And the reason why I say that is because of the two planets that are causing a whole lot of trouble right now, Mars and Saturn in Aquarius, which are squaring Uranus in Taurus. Well, now how does that affect you? Well, that Uranus in Taurus trines your sun, where you have Pluto. So believe it or not, there could be some more money coming your way. Not at the moment. So I will temper that by saying it's going to be that you'll be able to hang on to your money right now, or that it will grow at a steady pace. Even if it's a small pace, it'll keep growing at a steady pace, because that Uranus is trining your sun, and it's doing that until 2025. So you don't have to worry about financial advances, even if they're small ones. They'll keep coming. But because Mars and Saturn are in Aquarius right ahead of your sun sign, Capricorn, there is trouble on your horizon. And it seems to me that you're going to get caught up in the middle of something if you don't back away from it right now. In other words, you may have been thinking that this is the right time for you to join something that is a bigger deal. Or this is the right time for you to apply for a promotion that would require more responsibility and more training and stuff like that. Since Mars and Saturn are directly in front of your sun sign right now, and they are very harshly aspected, and they indicate the ability to scatter your forces and want to be forever young. Does that really sound like you, Capricorn? No. That's not you. You don't scatter your forces. You never skip a step, ever. Neither does Virgo. And so scattering your forces, you don't need to do that, Capricorn. So don't walk in where angels fear to tread. Or don't think you can fix somebody else's problems right now. They're definitely in trouble, but they should find somebody else, not you. You should step back. You value what you do well and keep it at that. You don't have to walk into uncharted territory or into a troublesome situation and think that you're going to be the person that saves everybody. It's not possible under these very harsh aspects of 3 malefic planets. Nothing's going to get saved. Something is going to get shredded. And let's hope it's, not anything that affects you, Capricorn. I don't think it will be anything that affects you unless you step into it. And that is why this is a better time for you. You just keep doing what you do well, but do not venture forth right now into any troubled waters, no matter who's having a problem. Just be a little bit too busy right now. Because once again, these 2 planets are at the 23rd degree. It reduces to 5. It indicates people who want to scatter their forces and be forever young. Well, your sign rules time. Your sign rules old age. I mean, what are you going to have in common with these people? Nothing. So step back, Capricorn. Or if you are thinking of venturing forth yourself, not this week. Because remember, you too are in renewal. And for you, the renewal is to sort of get better organized yourself. Or sort of clear the decks in your own life. Make sure things are more sort of cleaned up. And that all your bookwork is done well. So if you want to spend a lot of energy on problems, make them your own problems so you can solve them. That's a kind of renewal, because then you won't have those problems. But don't venture forth and walk into quicksand. You'll just sink. Don't do that. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Aquarius. This is a time, Aquarius, when you cannot afford to take a gamble on anything. Don't bet on anything. Keep your hands in your pocket as far as money goes. Don't spend it right now. Try not to alienate anybody right now. And particularly not the tax man. Because you could get hit with very high taxes. Taxes are ruled by Scorpio, and Scorpio squares Mars and Saturn, which are in your sign, and Uranus also squares Mars and Saturn in your sign. So you really have to be extra careful just with the smallest financial bookwork that you do. If you're just writing checks, you really look it over, make sure you got everything written right, or that you've got the numbers in the right order or something like that. You really have to be careful now, Aquarius, with your money. And with anything that represents value. You have to be careful. Now, what you could be saying, oh, my life is so calm, nothing can go wrong. Well, you wouldn't know that till it did. And then it's too late. So you have to be sort of with your defenses up. Even though you think there's no danger around you, you'll sleep better at night if you have your defenses up. And if you're going places during the day, just make sure you're not heading into any real bad traffic or any dangerous situations. Because the danger would come right at you. Mars and Saturn. You really have to be on your guard against just about everybody, Aquarius, right now. You could say, oh, but these are my wonderful family members. Well, you could just love them dearly, but this is not the time to see them. Just keep everybody at bay. These are very harsh aspects. There could be a cyber attack somewhere. I mean, I don't mean just for you, for everybody. There could be a cyber attack, a great big one. There could be satellites falling out of the sky because they're shot down. There could be a complete collapse of an electrical grid. I mean, these are really harsh aspects. There's definitely going to be a fight about money. Well, if people are fighting about money, that's one thing. But if they have lost something that is worth a great deal of money, that really hurts because there's not going to be enough money to replace what they lost. So that's why you just, tell yourself that you're going to read a good book this next week and make it a long book. And so you have something to do, but try not to associate with too many people this week. And be very careful, sort of watch where you walk and who you're with. And protect yourself. Carry something that's got a sharp end to it, just in case you need to use it. Very rarely has there been an aspect that is quite as harsh in anybody's sun sign, but unfortunately it's in your sun sign, Aquarius. So you're going to be real lucky if nothing happens to you in the next week. We all will be. But it doesn't look like we're going to get away with it. I think there is something pretty bad that's going to happen. I just hope it doesn't happen to you. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Pisces. Gee, Pisces, these 3 planets in your sign have got to just make you feel like you're in heaven. You could decide this is the time when, yes, you are going to finally make a dream come true. This would be a dream you had had for quite a while, Pisces. But now, for some reason, you can see exactly how to make it come true. And if you needed a partner, you can find exactly the right partners. Venus is in your sign. If you were thinking of enlarging your idea and expanding it beyond its initial stage, you could be getting that ready too, because Jupiter is in your sign. And then if it was something that was going to go either one of 2 ways, either it was going to really help humanity and really be good to people who are less fortunate and need help, something big, you could do it, Pisces. Or it could be that you know of some secret information behind the scenes, and if an imposter was exposed, it would help all of us bring someone to justice and sort of clear the air and get us back on a more honest basis with people. So whether you're working behind the scenes to help solve a problem that has been a secret deception, or some sort of something that's been hidden but has been very bad, you could do that. You could take part in that. Or you can simply just go the extra mile and really help people. And Pisces, with your sweet charity and humility, no matter what good you did, you would say, I'm the lucky one. Because you could feel lucky that you were there to help. There are things, these are people, there are people that are around, always around. You do not exactly see anything that would identify who they really are, but they're angels. And these are people with hearts that are bigger than they are. And they do God's work. But they don't talk about it. And They don't want attention drawn to them, but they're always there. You could do that, Pisces. Sometime in your life you will do that. If you've already done it, then you know what I'm talking about. Just being there when somebody needs a helping hand and it was yours. That's good. But having the humility and being humble enough to say, I'm the one that's the lucky one to have helped you. So that means that the answer to the question of do we live for ourselves or do we live for others? And Pisces would say others. We live for others. And they would tend to do that. So you are in an exceptionally wonderful time right now, Pisces. Make every moment count. I know you can. Okay, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next week. And you can see the show at 8 o'clock on Wednesdays, Pacific Daylight Time, if you'd like to subscribe to it on my Karen Campbell YouTube channel. And maybe you could tell your friends and they can do that too. And then I'll send it to you every Wednesday night. Thanks a lot. I'll see you next week. Bye.